Well, hey, here we are. Today it's Monday. It's doing what Mondays do. Doing what the Mondays do. Yes, and yes. Doing what Mondays do. But we're here though. We're here. We bless the Lord that we're here. Um, Starting another day, enjoying another session of the market, or at least getting ready to. We're about 20 minutes from the market opening, and I'm about almost an hour late doing this 40 minutes late starting this. I got ready to start the session, got ready to start, came on here. I was ready to get going. And as soon as I set my computer, I said, well, I had my computer on through the night. And I said, let me restart it real quick. So that way, when I get started with the show, my computer won't be bogged down with stuff from last night. How about it said updating? It started updating and it went like through a real update. I said, well, obviously this wasn't intended for 8:30. So let me do some other stuff while it does its updating. So that's a good thing because the things I needed to do were going to be like after I got off the show. So I took care of them. My computer updated while I was doing that. And now I'm ready to focus on this for the next 20-ish minutes. Ooh, excuse me. The market will open and then we will be on our way to see what the day has for us. Yes. So we weren't on last evening. I was traveling last evening. I went to the Chi. It was a little chilly in the Chi. Went for a women's conference for a friend of mine, and it was really, really good. And we flew back yesterday evening into warm Florida. Yes, we did. So I'm back. That's why we were not on yesterday evening. I was planning on covering my regular Sunday stuff. I was going to cover it this morning, but it looks like I may not have the time to really get into too much of it because I'll need to stay moving. So we're not on here too long once the market gets open. I don't want anybody being distracted by me and my antics when the market is open. So at this point, SPX 500 is at 6850. Like 6850 is where we are. We blew right through 6800. And now we're at 6850, about 20 minutes before the market is going to open. On Friday, SPX closed at 67.91. Tanya said, I just went walking. Okay, well, take me with you. So 67.91. So we're SPX is up about 60 points from the close of Friday. It's up about 60 points from the close of Friday. So that's going to be a bit of a gap up. So, keep that in mind. It's going to be a bit of a gap up this morning. SPX will want to fill that gap. Don't know if it'll fill that gap today, but it will look to fill this 60 points that it's going to create. That's going to be created by this gap up this morning. So expect that. Okay. That's what happened. Well, let's do a little quick look at last week. This was last week's candle. This is a weekly chart. So last week's candle was a big old green. You see, we are clearly still on a bullish uptrend. We're still going bullish here, still bullish. Had a pullback a couple weeks ago, but recovered that. I can close this gap off because that gap there is filled, right? And then let's go to the daily chart. See what's on the daily chart. We did have a few gaps that got filled on. One got filled on Wednesday. There was one from October the 17th that got filled on this past Wednesday, but another gap has been left behind right in here. There's a gap from 67.39 to 67.72, and it looks like there's going to be another one that will be created today. All right. Going to be another one and another one and another one bites the dust. Yeah, and another one. Okay, this is where we are on SPX. Let's go on from here to the show. Okay, we do have some interesting things happening. VIX is at 1569. The volatility index, the VIX is at 1569. Of course, the VIX down means the market generally is up. We see that. U.S.-China talks tee up a trade deal for Trump and Xi. This may already be priced in. This may be what we're seeing. This may be part of the pop we're seeing. Don't know. Besson and Beijing signaled that the ground is prepared for a continued truce and broader deal. So, you know what they say, buy the rumor, sell the news. This is a rumor at this point. This is the buy the rumor part, because until there's a deal, there isn't one. All right. They're just talking at this point. U.S. stock futures climb as trade deal hopes run high. Just because this man right here is smiling or look like he's smiling, don't fall for that. I used to live in China, and that smile means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. It could just mean you are a fool and I'm just smiling in your face. It don't mean we doing nothing. Wall Street worries Intel's key business is nowhere near a turnaround. That's no shock there. But you know, they keep pouring money in, it'll get it together. Rare earth stocks fall as Besant flags China pause on curbs. NVIDIA's Huang summons AI roadshow to DC with U.S.-China deal near. Microsoft upgrade leaves 99% of the analysts bullish. Argentina's bonds surge after Miley's landslide win. Novartis goes drop. Earnings. Dr. Pepper pops as busiest week of season kicks off. This is a lot of earnings coming up this week. I'm going to hit that here in a minute. Okay. Definitely got a lot of earnings coming up this week. Let's look at CNBC, see what it has to say. That CPI data from Friday definitely made us bullish, made the market bullish. So that pushed a bit for Friday. Pre-market, everything's green in the Dow futures, S&P futures, NASDAQ futures. Oil is green, 10-year bonds are green. Dow futures rallied 200 points on potential China trade truce. Potential. Again, buy the rumor, sell the news. This is not news yet. It's rumor. Potential. That's a rumor, right? In Europe, we got a kind of a mixed bag over here. European markets edge higher with Fed, Trump, and Xi meetings in focus, because the Fed is going to do their thing this week too, I think on Wednesday. And in Asia, we got all green over there. Crypto's all green. Bitcoin is back at 115,000. Rare earth stocks tumble as U.S. expect China to delay export controls. China deal and TikTok decision near as Asia trip builds momentum. Besant lists 5 finalists for the Fed chair job, and Trump says decision coming before the end of the year. Tesla risks losing Musk if a $1 trillion pay package isn't approved. Okay. Moving on. Let's look at the calendar for this week. Yeah, that's exactly what that smile means. I lived there. I saw how they do. And that smile means absolutely nothing. You remember that song, They Smiling in Your Face? Yeah, you need to keep that in mind, because that's the way that operates, okay? Just smile means nothing. Monday's nothing coming up today. We have no meeting set for today. Tuesday, October 28th, which is tomorrow. HPI, which is Housing Price Index, is tomorrow. Richmond Manufacturing Index, CV Consumer Confidence, that's all tomorrow, right? Wednesday, we've got the FOMC statement is coming. This is whether or not we're cutting rates again. That's on Wednesday afternoon at 2:00. That's why it's a red folder, okay? That's Wednesday. Okay. Thursday, we've got FOMC members. People are going to be speaking on Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday, that will happen. But Wednesday is what we're waiting for here. Okay. Biggest thing happening there. Good morning, Bernard and Carla. Hi there. How we doing? Okay. So there's investing.com. Forex didn't have anything on the list for today. So let's see if investing has anything on the list for today. Come on. I could not get my software to work so for me to change Adam's numbers so you all will get to see it just like I see it in raw form. And then we'll have to do our own subtracting kind of real time. Today says here new home sales at 10 o'clock. Manufacturing Business Index 1030, 2-year no auction, 6-month bill auction, 3-month bill auction, 5-year no auction. That's what is on investing.com for today and this afternoon. Nothing was on Forex Factory as far as today went. Okay. What is that? Oh, okay. Let's go to earnings. Go to earnings for the week. Okay. We got a lot this week. This morning we had Keurig, Dr. Pepper, Carter, Sci-Fi, Easterly, Bank of Marin, Revity, Bank of Hawaii, New DACO, New Energy, BCB Bank, Alliance, some kind of partners, resource partners. All right. That was all this morning. This afternoon, after market closes, Celestica, NXP, Avis, Budget Group, Rambus, Waste Management, Cadence, Whirlpool, Crane, Nucor, Amcor Technology. That's all after market closes. Tomorrow morning, ding, 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 SoFi. SoFi is my darling. SoFi is going to report tomorrow morning before the market opens, okay? United Healthcare tomorrow morning. Also, let me move. I can make this a little bigger so everybody can see even better, including me. Okay. Tomorrow morning, United Healthcare, PayPal, UPS, Corning, HSBC, Royal Caribbean, JetBlue, DR Horton, Wayfair. All of those are tomorrow morning. Tomorrow after close, Enphase, EMPH, Bloom Energy, Seagate, OKE, like one OK. OKE, Visa, Booking Holdings, Electronic Arts, New Gold, Cheesecake Factory, Mondelez International. All those are tomorrow. Wednesday morning, Verizon, Boeing, CVS, Caterpillar, Fiserv, Centene, Etsy, ADP, Flex, Kraft, Heinz. Wednesday after close, Meta, getting to the big tech. Meta, Microsoft, Google, all of those are Wednesday after close. Chipotle, Carvana, ServiceNow, Starbucks, Mercado Libre, Sprouts, and Agnico Eagle. That's all Wednesday after close. Thursday morning, Eli Lilly, Merck, Comcast, Roblox, Blue Owl, Insmed, Quanta, CommScope, Enterprise Products Partners, and Advanced Auto Parts. Thursday after close, some more big boys: Amazon, Apple, Coinbase, Reddit, Western Digital, Strategy. MicroStrategy is the one that is Thursday after market. Riot, Rocket, Cloudflare, Roku. All those is Thursday after the market closes. Friday, Exxon, Chevron, AbbVie, which is a pharmaceutical, CN, Lyondale, Basel, Lind, LIN is the ticker. Charter, Colgate Palmolive, CBOE, and Synovus. All right. The big ones. So if you're trading SPX, we do. SPY, we do. Triple Q, we do. All those. And a lot of these are going to be in IWM, which is small cap. Keep this all in mind. Keep this in mind. We've got some of the big hitters are in here and some of the small ones, but some of these small ones will move us too. So definitely Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Coinbase. You've got a lot of the bigger hitters here are going to have earnings this week. So you need to trade accordingly, okay? Trade accordingly. That's what we need to do. Trade accordingly. Definitely. Okay. Where are we going next? Let's go on to the charts. Well, I was going to take us to Adam, but I don't see that we can. I'm not going to go there. Okay, so let's go to the chart. What time are we at? 9:22. Yeah, I'm going back to the charts. The Adam numbers, if you're watching Adam's numbers on Twitter, you can subtract 34 from his numbers. That's the gap between SPX and ES is 34. The gap between those two is 34. So, morning, Ivy. Bernard said, so no iron condors. What do you think? I wouldn't trade iron condors this week for sure. And I probably wouldn't trade any of the things that are on earnings unless you know you're going to short date trade it, either trade it after earnings or trade it before earnings and plan to get out before the earnings call. And I don't think I'd do iron condors again, unless you're after earnings has been announced. I wouldn't get in front of earnings and then ride through earnings. I definitely wouldn't do that for as a credit spread trader, because that's a binary event, and it's basically going to present the opportunity for the price to pop or drop significantly, which can go right through whatever technical analysis you've done. The earnings call can blow through that. So it's best to just wait and watch, or trade it after the earnings call, ride the wave that you see after that. Or if you're going to trade it on the front side, trade it and then be out before the earnings call, the earnings information is delivered. Actually, my stuff that I have for my weeklies that I do with Peakbot, I have all of those paused. I'll just wait till we come out of this. And some of those aren't having earnings this week, but it's just easier for me to pause it. I have like IWM, even though I probably will trade IWM like 1 DTE, depending on who's got earnings the next day. But I may or may not even do that. I'll have to wait and see. I'll look at it day to day, but I wouldn't do weeklies like that this week, unless you know something is not having earnings and is definitely not going to be affected by any of that stuff that has the earnings. Then maybe trade some smaller names or whatever, or trade it after the earnings call has been called, after earnings has been called. Okay, so this is SPY. We've got a little bit of a gap here we can document. Got some support, some resistance we can look at. This is the daily chart I got us on, 673. That's no longer all-time high, so I can actually move that because all-time high is now 678. I can now clone this and give us a daily. There we go. Support and resistance can go right up in here. Okay, so let's see what we got going in the morning. Definitely going to be a bit of a gap up. Where is my, I had issues with this. It wasn't showing. Let's reload it, because I need to be able to see the middle, in the middle of it. Oh, it's almost time for the market to open. We got about 5 minutes. 5 minutes before the market opens. Come on, darlings. I'll put us on the 5-minute chart. See what we got. Oh, we're supposed to be on SPY anyway. Okay, SPY. 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 Okay, looks like SPY closed on Friday. SPY closed on Friday around 677. It is currently at 683. So it's up about 6 points from Friday. So all this big old gap is going to be left behind for now. We'll see what happens and when the market decides it's going to come back and close it up, because SPY and everything else, most stocks will close their gaps because it's an imbalance left behind. You don't know the timing of when or how, but know that it will come back for the gap. And it is at an all-time high. Well, it was at an all-time high on Friday. 678 is at a higher all-time high, which is at 683. When stuff gets at all-time high and gets into rare air, at any time, it can decide we don't really like it up here, and it can come back. So you just need to know that when any stock is at all-time high, it's a little tenuous up there. It's just not stable. There's not a lot of stability at all-time high. So Trade accordingly, as I always see. Please trade what you see and trade lightly. There's a lot happening in the market, these earnings calls and that kind of thing. If you're a new trader or an inexperienced trader, definitely trade light. And when I say new and inexperienced, that really includes a few years, because this is the kind of cumulative game, and I call it a game. It's a cumulative activity where your knowledge is cumulative. It grows and grows. So you need to, it grows over time, and you don't know what you don't know until it happens, and then you start knowing it. And I know this because it is the way it is for me. You're like, I got this, I understand this, and something happens, you're like, oh, I didn't really know about that. And you're like, oh, here's something else I didn't know. And then sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't know about that either. And you just don't know till you know, or till something is introduced to you. And you may have heard it. Doesn't mean that you know what's being discussed, because you didn't really know until you know. All right. Until it's introduced to you. So this is Triple Q. Triple Q closed on Friday at 617. It's currently at 624. About 7 points higher than its all-time high, which was also on Friday. It's about 7 points higher than that right now. So again, trade lightly, trade wisely. Trade lightly, trade wisely. All right. Looks like IWM closed on Friday at 249. It is currently at 251.89. All-time high, or weekly high, was at 252.75. So it's not quite at its weekly high, but it is kind of bumped up. It had a nice little gap up as well. It is up there as well. Okay. So those are the indices. Market is getting ready to actually open. So it's 9:29. We're getting ready to hear the bell. Ding, ding, ding. We're getting ready to hear the bell. This is SPX on the 15-minute chart. So what you're looking at here was Friday. Even though we had a gap up on Friday, this gap needs to be a little bigger, huh? Even though we had a gap up, it had a gap up on Friday. It didn't come back to fill the gap. And now the market just opened, and there's another gap up right there. I'm on the 15-minute chart. Price closed right here and opened right there. So another gap has been created. Open at 68.53. Time frame continuity, of course, is saying green across the board because all of those are starting at the same 15-minute. They won't start to uncouple. If you ever heard of the uncoupling, these arrows won't start to uncouple until the time periods have passed. So they're all the same. After 15 minutes, then this will uncouple from the 30. After 30 minutes, this will uncouple from the hour, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. So that's how that will go. For those who watch time frame continuity, which we all should watch time frame continuity, because you want to see if you're trading with the direction or against it. Are you trading with the flow, or are you trading against the flow? And if the higher time frames are green, and the shorter ones are red, are you trading with the time frame or against it? This is where we incorporate time frame continuity. Okay. All righty. I told you, if you're looking at Adam Mancini's tweets, you want to subtract 34 points from his numbers. I could not get I told you my computer updated this morning, and somehow that my Snagit software did not want to do the work. It didn't want to open and let me do my editing. So we moved on without it, because if I was waiting on it, I'd still be waiting, because it never did open. So we'd still be waiting otherwise. I believe I've covered everything I wanted to cover this morning. Looks like the market, or SPX, opened, and it's starting to pull back a little bit into this gap already. Okay, let's go on, and I'm going to do our morning declaration. Of course, if you'd like to trade with me, with us, I do have a membership where I guide and train and trade and all those good things. And there's people who ride along with me as we trade SPX, XSP, and IWM each day. And if you're interested in riding along with us and, being a part of my community, then come on over. Come on over. You can come on over and hang out with us. I do alerts, I do training, we do charting, I'm there for guidance, all the good things. We're there together. We hang out. It's a really great community. Really great community. But you can use e2t.trading if you want to go there and learn more about it, or you can just go to my website, educator2trader.com, and sign up there. Okay. Let's do our declaration. I declare I'm a great trader, a successful trader, and a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses. My accounts growing steadily. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I have a strategy that I use for my trades. I don't randomly place trades. I'm a level-headed trader who trades my plan and not my emotions. I will suggest that as we come into today, that you take a beat. Right? As a seller, you take a minute, watch a little bit, see what happens. Give it a minute, right? Don't rush in at 9:30, throwing your money at it, thinking I'm getting left. No, do not let FOMO get you. Do not let fear of missing out and all those good things. Like, I need to know, wait. As sellers, we don't need to jump in all super fast. You got time. Give all those orders of people who sent orders in over the weekend after they did all their studying, all the industrial orders, all the everything. Let all that come through before you start throwing your money into the fire. All right, because it could be that into the fire so it can burn up. Don't do that to yourself. Give it a minute. Let things chill out. Right? Let all of this settle down before you decide what you're going to do. All righty. Lord, it's you who gives us the power to get wealth. Help us today to trade our strategy with wisdom and knowledge. Allow us to prosper enough to have what we need and enough to bless others. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen. As you can tell on the chart, price is already starting to pull back into the gap. Doesn't mean it's going to feel it today, just means it's pulling back into it. So trade accordingly. Trade accordingly. All righty, everybody. Well, I want you to do two things today. Definitely keep your head on a swivel. Watch, as well as pray. You got to pray in these markets. Okay, you need to pray. Definitely. I want you to stay green. I want you to get some of this money. Get enough for you and enough to bless others. All right. I want you to have a great green day, everyone. Bye-bye.